Imagine being given a choice. Imagine not being told what to do. Imagine someone following your command.
Instead of advertising a service you must pay for in order for the phone to function properly.
Sorry, I couldn't find stream beats in your music.
Hi, I'm Will, the homeschool DJ. I've been frustrated with Apple's business ethic for a few years and I don't want to use an iPhone anymore. And hearing that, you might say, Will, why don't you just buy an Android? I did. I bought a Google Pixel 4a. Or at least I did for Madison. Fiance comes first, right? So I'm gonna let her tell you about the experience with her new Pixel 4a.
I am DJ Will's fiance. He's been trying to get me to do something with his YouTube channel for a long time, and I finally got something that he doesn't have that he wanted me to review, which is the Google Pixel 4a. He has been begging me to do this forever, and he'll probably come up with some fancy nickname later when he makes this video. So we'll see what he renames me by the time we get this video done. I bought the Google Pixel 4a. I feel like it's a very underrated phone. I don't feel like a lot of people are knowledgeable about it. Today we're just going to talk about it a little bit and compare it to some of my personal experiences with the iPhone and just tell you about some of the features that it currently has that I like and don't like. First, we're gonna talk about just the features. So this is the phone. It's very thin and slick, which I love about it. One of the first things that I really love about it is the front screen is very wide, so it doesn't have that big round bezel along there, so you can't touch, with an iPhone, how it has the round circle. That leads me to the touch to unlock is actually on the back of the phone. So you don't have to push like a button on the front screen, it's all on the back, which is very convenient and very quick. So I do love that a lot more than the iPhone. The other thing that I like about it is the camera in the front seems to be a better quality than the iPhone. I get great pictures out of it, and maybe DJ Will can set up a picture to also show you just exactly what I mean. The back camera is obviously really good too. I wouldn't say maybe the videos are as good, but the pictures are definitely a lot better, and I love that because I love to take pictures all the time of my dog and of neat nature.
The iPhone 8 can handle 4K 60 FPS and 1080 240 FPS, whereas the Pixel 4a at half the price can only do 4K 30 FPS and 1080 at 120 FPS, so half the price, half the frames. I do want to mention that the Pixel video and photos transferred to my editing computer quickly and without issue, whereas the iPhone files are in a proprietary codec that Apple charges 99 cents for you to view these files on your Windows computer, which makes organizing the files difficult because Apple doesn't label their files. The Pixel labels the type of file, for example, slow motion, portrait mode, night mode, etc. Plus, I can see the thumbnail of the Pixel's file to know what it is, or I can click on it and preview the file. But owning a Pixel has its downsides as well.
Some downsides too of the Google Pixel 4a as far as the accessories. Finding accessories for it is very hard right now because people just don't know about it and everybody just thinks iPhone, iPhone, iPhone. So if you do want any accessories like a case, you gotta order it. Once you get your case, you're good to go. That's one downfall of that. What's also great about this phone is, you know how iPhone, you have to have the adapter or the iPhone headphones or wireless headphones? Guess what? There's a headphone jack. So you don't have to worry about that anymore. I love it. It's so much easier. I still have my wireless headphones, but it's so great to be able to charge my phone and listen to music at the same time, because that would get frustrating when I was on the road with the football team and my phone's dead, but we're on a bus for 2.5 hours and I can't listen to music because I gotta charge my phone. So that was very frustrating. So I'm very happy with the headphone jack being back.
I was pleasantly surprised when the Pixel 4a headphone jack was able to push my 250 ohm DT770 to uncomfortable loudness. I actually turned the volume down a notch. What Maddie and I were not impressed by was the speakers on the Pixel. Phone calls sounded muffled, but easy to understand, and listening to music, the vocals are emphasized and clear, while the bass and sparkle are mostly non-existent. I hardly use the speakers on my phone, but when I do, I want them to work. These do their job well, but nothing more. I guess you can't ask for everything to be good in a $350 phone, especially with the extra manufacturing cost of USB Type-C.
Charger is really nice too because it's kind of universal and you seem to be able to use it with a lot of stuff and it charges very quickly. Battery life. Love the battery life. Use my phone all day long as I'm an athletic trainer, so I'm always in need of having to use my phone. And by the time the end of the day comes, and I may not get home until 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, I'll still have 50% of my battery life left. And so it's really great, and the battery saver is great. You can turn that on any time of day, and it works very well. I really like it. Is there anything I'm missing? As far as the internet goes, if you open a lot of tabs, sometimes it can get a little slow, but I think that has to do with the budget phone that I got. It's an iPhone 4A. Oh yeah. The Google Pixel 4a and not getting like the Google Pixel 4 or the 5 because it has a littler processor. And once you get a bunch of tabs open, it gets kind of slow, but as long as you clear out those tabs, it's fine, and I haven't had any issues with it. Another thing that's kind of weird to get used to is when you are on the web and want to go like back, you don't have like a back arrow. You touch the side of the screen in order to go back and kind of swipe. Some other features that I like is the apps on it. So you have your main page. It will tell you the date and your events that you have for the day, and then if you slide over, it will show you all of the apps and all of those features that you can have, which is always really nice. I like having that blank screen to be able to just have your notifications. It is very easy to use, user-friendly. About the Google Play Store, is I found that apps are usually a little cheaper, and I feel like it's easier to find things on the Google Play Store as it's kind of categorized a little better, and when I search stuff it seems to come up with more of the results that I want. That's always a benefit with Google Play. It's very convenient, easy to use. It's not hard to use. Not saying that the Apple App Store is hard to use, but it's definitely not any harder to switch to the Google Play Store. Some other things that's just nice in general is that you can hook it up to your Google Drive. Anything that you've ever saved in your Google Drive, Google Pictures, etc., you can have it all backed up on there and then find those at any time, which is always really great. Going away from iPhone helps with meshing your computer and your phone together. I recently got a Microsoft Surface Pro, which I love, by the way, especially for my job and being able to record athletes and so on and so forth. I can transfer the data for my athletes and all that information I need between my Google Pixel 4a and my Microsoft Surface. All I have to do is have my Gmail logged in on both devices, and I can immediately get info from one or the other, which is very nice. It also, if you use Chrome and have your Gmail logged in, it will also bring up your recent searches. If you go from your laptop to your phone and you're like, oh no, I forgot what I researched earlier or what website I found, you can actually look on your phone in the history to find what you recently searched. So that's always great, and I use it a lot because I have to find a lot of research articles, and sometimes I don't have my computer. So that's always really nice to have for my job, especially if you don't have a MacBook and an iPhone, because you're in trouble in that case, where if you have like a Microsoft Surface and then a Google Pixel 4, they mesh together very well.
Now I hear you typing in the comments that you can do that on the iPhone. Let me tell you a story. I like to post time lapses on Instagram. Instagram only lets you post from a mobile phone app. In order to transfer files from my computer to my phone, this is what I have to do. I try to upload my video to iCloud and grab it from my phone, but the files are automatically compressed to 720p. So instead, I upload the file to the Google Drive or Dropbox, then I wait for the file to process, then download the file to my phone's Google Drive app. But I can't go from Drive straight to Instagram. I need to put the file in the iPhone Photos app. But I can't go from Google Drive straight to the iPhone Photos app either. I have to save the video to the iPhone Files app, then wait for it to process, then go to the Files app and save the video to the iPhone Photos app. Then I can upload the video to Instagram from there. So it's nice that you can just have the full resolution videos transfer straight to the Google Pixel, because waiting for the file to process on the iPhone would take hours sometimes, and it would get corrupted sometimes, and then I'd have to start over the next day. Alright, let's talk about the Google Assistant.
Of course, if you have Google Home, your house is all Google based, you can control that all by your phone, which is really awesome. That's one thing I have a benefit now over DJ Homeschool because he has an iPhone still. I can be anywhere, at school, at work, and I can check cameras, I can turn things off and on a lot easier than he can, so that's always nice. We're slowly turning our house into a Google house, which has been really cool in itself. My phone really helps with that. I would say for anybody that's kind of sick of iPhone to go ahead and look into the Google Pixel 4, especially if you love to take pictures and want a pretty well-rounded phone with good battery power and good screen. I love the screen, like I said, because it's very large. Definitely something you should research and think about. It's not exactly one of the first phones people think about, so I think people need to really give it a chance, and I think people would really enjoy it to get away from my phone. Alright, well that's all I have for you. Hopefully DJ Will can make this into something. Bye everyone.
I do want to mention that the Pixel word's bigger. Maybe they would be easier to read if they were bigger. Looks like gibberish when it's upside down like that. Automatically just went boop. That Apple charges 99. I think I did pretty good on that one. What do you think?